Grand Highlander, just a bigger Highlander. It's an entirely new model that slots above that best-selling midsize 3-row SUV and below the full-size Sequoia. But it's also a response to the excellent Kia Telluride and similar vehicles that offer stuff, more room, more speed. The regular Highlander simply can ''T. Our 2024 Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Limited tipped the scales at nearly 5,000 pounds, but it proved unexpectedly quick for a big fella, hitting 60 miles per hour nearly half a second quicker than Toyota's estimate in 5.9 seconds. It also proved 2.1 seconds quicker than the smaller 2023 Highlander XSE AWD and a second quicker than the best time we have for the current generation Kia Telluride AWD, both of which are lighter but less powerful given they lack torquey electric motors. Grunt for our limited model comes from the most robust powertrain you can get in a 2024 Grand Highlander, which is marketed as Hybrid Max. Similar to the setups offered in the Crown sedan and Lexus RX 500h luxury SUV, the Grand Highlander pairs a 2.4-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder with 2 motors and a battery pack. Combined output is 71 horsepower, more than the Telluride's 291 horsepower with its much bigger V6. A 6-speed automatic transmission and electric all-wheel drive are also standard for the Grand Highlander. From the driver's seat, the big Toyota feels peppy enough in a straight line, and transitions between the vehicle's internal combustion and hybrid systems are almost imperceptible. But the experience is less refined under more aggressive acceleration, even if very few owners will ever drive their Grand Highlander as we did while assessing this one. Just know there's plenty of power, and Toyota says it can tow up to 5,000 pounds just like the gas version. Around town at measured speeds, the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Limited rides relatively comfortably with all but the largest impacts from broken pavement or potholes being well isolated from occupants. But using the same suspension hardware as lighter, non-hybrid models, this big, tall, heavier hybrid SUV suffers from considerable body roll when cornering, and it's prone to noticeable dive under sudden braking, as are many of its competitors. That said, steering feel is relatively direct and surprisingly good for a vehicle of this size. Our judges were split on the brakes, though. Specifically, the pedal seems to require more force than most brake pedals we've encountered. This in itself is not super unusual among heavy SUVs, but it did divide opinions on our test team. Some liked the pedal's stiff feel and short travel, but others thought there wasn't enough feedback. There was no compromise in effectiveness, though, with consistent straight-line stopping distances from 60 miles per hour and 123 feet, same as the Telluride. It's not as efficient as the base hybrid. That model's 2.5-liter non-turbo inline-4 and electric motors return 37/34 of a mile per gallon city/highway with front drive, increases of 11 in the city and 7 on the highway versus the Hybrid Max AWD's 26/27. The base hybrid also boasts a roughly 155-mile advantage in maximum range, 619 miles versus 464 for the Hybrid Max. For further context, non-hybrid 2023 Grand Highlanders with AWD return 20/26 of a mile per gallon city/highway and up to 392 miles of range. There's no Kia Telluride AWD hybrid, and its 2023 gas 6-cylinder delivers mileage far below any Grand Highlanders, at 18/24 of a mile per gallon city/highway. Mazda's 3-row CX-90 offers a plug-in powertrain that may be a better MPG competitor, even if the CX-90 is a smaller vehicle, but official EPA ratings haven't been released as of this writing. Our Limited was fitted with second-row captain's chairs, which limits Grand Highlander passenger occupancy at 7, but a bench is also available for 8-passenger seating. There's more front legroom than in both the standard Highlander and Telluride, as well as more room for adults in the third row, 1.1 inches more headroom and 4.5 inches more legroom than in the Highlander. That said, the hybrid battery lives below the seats, and that raises the floor back there versus competitors. The padding on the rearmost seats feels thin, too. At least our heads aren't crammed up against the headliner as they were with the previous generation Highlander. It's worth noting how easy it is to move and stow the rear seats in the Grand Highlander, even without power or automation. Using various inconspicuous levers, you can slide or fold the second row from the rear doorways or third row. And there's very little resistance, everything moves easily and feels relatively lightweight. Cargo space is of course increased, too. The 16.0 cubic feet behind the Highlander's third row expands to 20.6 cubes in the Grand Highlander. With both rear rows down, there's a massive 97.5 cubic feet, 13.2 more cubes than in the standard Highlander. As for the Telluride, it offers slightly more room behind the third row, 21.0 cubic feet, but would need to find 10.5 cubes to match the Grand Highlander's max cargo volume. Overall packaging is excellent. The cubby at the bottom of the center stack seems big enough for a second wireless charging pad. We've previously gushed about the front passenger shelf, which now comes with its own USB-C port. We also like the center console. Although its clever rolling top might not allow you to fit a purse, the space below seems deep and wide enough for one. Our 2024 Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Limited also included 13 cup holders throughout, plus tablet cubbies and the removable center console between the second row captain's chairs. The first 2 rows of seats are supportive and comfortable, and all rows were covered in a microsuede in our limited test vehicle. The front seats are heated and ventilated, while the outboard second row seats are heated. A heated, leather-trimmed steering wheel is also standard at this grade, as are retractable sun shades for the rear doors. A pair of 12.3-inch displays live in the dash, one serving as the driver's instrument panel and the other as the infotainment touchscreen. The big central screen comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility and turns out to be the perfect place to view all the Grand Highlander's surroundings from the optional 360-degree camera. 7 USB-C ports and 2 120-volt outlets are standard on the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Limited. So are a hands-free powered liftgate, power folding side mirrors, tinted rear windows, ambient lighting, an auto-dimming rearview mirror, and 11-speaker JBL premium audio. It's a generous feature set, with the only options fitted to our vehicle being the 360-degree camera and a panoramic sunroof. So is the Hybrid Max 2024 Grand Highlander a better challenger for the Kia Telluride AWD than the standard Highlander? In many important ways, yes. Boasting greater output, the Toyota is quicker. With either hybrid powertrain, the Grand Highlander returns better fuel economy than the Telluride AWD. And with one or both rear rows folded, the Toyota SUV has more cargo space. Where the Kia wins is in standard equipment and its premium feel. Both SUVs offer upscale appointments with big screens and elegant styling, and we like the Telluride's packaging, too. And it also offers a suspension tune for comfort. Plus, it has off-road trims, which the Grand Highlander doesn't. If pricing is the bottom line, the Telluride appears to be the better deal. After all, our Grand Highlander Limited's base price of $55,375 rose to $57,750 with options. This mid-grade Grand Highlander was almost $1,000 more than the highest 2024 Telluride trim level, the SX Prestige X Pro. The Kia is without a doubt more affordable. But with the Grand Highlander hybrids, you're getting better fuel economy and the brand's reputation for reliability. Indeed, if a family hauler is what you need, this new 3-row will check off many boxes, including a couple the standard Highlander can't. When choosing between the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max and cheaper conventional competitors, you'll just need to decide whether you want to save a little money up front on price or in the long run on fuel economy.
We have come to the end of the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel to help us.